smoothly.
I can't believe that lock showed up.
Just because, I mean, I could pull in here and it's gonna be, I know I won't have enough room because I'm about 22 feet. So from here to here to get it in here, if we can keep going a little bit, I definitely, as long as it's not hanging up, that's the good news. Check how much room we got now. Oh, I should be, yeah, that's plenty. I should be able to work with that. Cool. All right, I'm gonna go get that unhooked a while. You guys can see. You have the key for that lock. Sweet. That went relatively smoothly. That's perfect. Yeah, throw that in the bed. Right up against the tailgate's fine. All right, there it is. 13.5 tall. Not too bad. There's not one single oil mark under the truck, which is pretty good. So I'm happy with that. But we got the plate on there on the bottom. There we go. You guys got to see the whole thing. We're gonna roll out. She is tall. All right, guys, so we are going around making sure everything's good on this thing. All the tires are good. The axles are nice and cool. So truck does not have any leaks, which is weird, but I'll take it. Look at that. Not a single spot of oil, coolant, anything. So come over here. It's so minor, literally so minor. Look at that oil leak. It's so minor that it doesn't even drip. Like, there is no oil underneath the truck. No leak from the differential. I do want to check the tire pressures, and airbags look okay. That airbag definitely needs to be replaced. Yeah, it's touching the leaf spring. I'm gonna have to replace that when I get back. Oh yeah, I take 2 weeks off after like 3 weeks out. It's not bad, just sitting at home. And I don't even know if you can go back on there and look at the actual, I don't know how far back you can actually go.
It just goes back to the current plus 7 days and that's it.
Oh, that's weird, yeah. Let's say, literally my first day back, I think I left the house this morning at what, 3:30? Yeah. Something like that. First day back out. I think I'm literally, what, 7 or 8 hours from home in Carlisle.
What I'm gonna have you do, oh, you have a medical card?
Oh, yes. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Thank you. All right, what I'm gonna have you do is pull in behind the old scale house here. Okay. That way we're off the highway even more, and I'll do an inspection and get you back on your way then.
All right.
Mind if I open your door real quick?
Yeah, sure. It should be on there. I think it's
9,000.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right.
I'll meet you up there.
Sounds good. Ooh, we're getting our first level 1. I guess we'll see once he's done there. I'll make sure he's. Don't want to run the guy over. So lucky for me, I should be all right. Yeah. I degreased it. I took it to the car wash yesterday, but I'm like, I can only sit under there so long with a pressure washer. I got soaked. I was like, I'm going home. You guys are not gonna believe this. You guys aren't gonna believe this at all. All these people saying, oh, my truck's dangerous, you know, this and that. Man, I just went through a full level 1 inspection. And we passed. Passed our first level 1 inspection with this company. To the people who said I couldn't do it, I did it. All right, I got a Love's in about 4 hours and 11 minutes. I'm gonna try to get fuel before then, and then done for the night. So my pyrometer decides to work sometimes, and it's really annoying when it actually starts working because all it ever wants to do is yell at me because it gets too hot. Like 1500 degrees isn't that hot pulling up a grade, you know? All right, we about to park for the night. I feel like I've been here before. Yeah, I have. All right, so I want one of those spots. All right, that's pretty much gonna do it. I'm gonna go get me some food. All right, so it's sometime the next day. Out cruising, we're sitting in traffic now. It's actually the first traffic I've seen today. So that's pretty decent, not too bad. Got fuel earlier. Yeah, I think we're in Missouri now, just heading, chilling. So I'll tell you what, this truck is so loud now. Ever since I put that fuel plate in. The 12 valve has always been so quiet that you can't hear the exhaust in the cab. Even with the axle dump, it still was pretty quiet in the cab. And now it's at the point where you can hear this thing pretty damn well, and it didn't start doing that until I put the fuel plate in. So I think throwing more fuel at it really helped put the sound output. So when I get back, I have a bunch of sound deadening on order. I want to pull all the carpet out, pull the back seats back out, pull the whole interior out, and I want to go through the truck and actually sound deaden the whole thing and get the new vent for the back. So that should be pretty sweet. That should definitely help to keep out some of the noise. And I'm gonna put the tailpipe back on at some point. I did order a 5-inch clamp for that. I just need to get a welder. So that should help. It should keep the noise the same on the outside, but it should help eliminate a lot of the noise on the inside. I only like to hear the engine or the exhaust really when I'm like under tunnels or I'm in traffic. That's when I like to play with it. When I'm cruising all day, no. The axle dump is super loud. But the thing is, last trip with the axle dump, you couldn't hear the axle dump in the cab at all. You couldn't hear the exhaust. Unless you were really stomping on it, you could barely hear it. Now, goodness, you can really hear it. So it's got some oomph to it. All right, so you guys aren't gonna believe this. If the truck doesn't blow up today, I'm gonna actually do a legit oil change. I just need to find an auto parts store. And also we're gonna change the transmission fluid. That's kind of neat. We're gonna make it official. We're gonna do some actual work. So a bunch of people recommended I carry like a 5-gallon jugging of diesel in case, you know, I run out of fuel or something. But I'll do you one better. I carry supplies to do an oil change on me. So if I run out of fuel, which I'm really close to doing right now, I have 41 miles, the DTE says 86, but you really can't trust that thing. So if I run out of fuel, all I gotta do is go do an oil change on the side of the highway, dump that in the fuel tank, and keep on going. Same with the transmission. I gotta find better connectors for that alternator, because like, I'm just casually cruising. This must have went out a while ago because it's my battery voltage is down to 12.5. So I mean, it must have went out a little bit ago. I'm just casually cruising. I got like 20 more miles till the fuel station I was gonna stop at. Almost out of fuel. So it's just really been an uneventful trip. Like there's nothing I haven't had any issues yet. And it's like I spent all of yesterday at full throttle. I got on my first tank with this load, because I filled up prior, I got 8.5 miles per gallon. And then yesterday when I filled up, or this morning when I filled up again, I checked it and I got 7.5. So I'm getting 7.5 miles per gallon with this tiny home, which is actually pretty good considering dispatch told me he was getting 5 with his. Well, I said no drama, and I said that a little early. So I was right, one of the connectors on the alternator, insanely worried about it. I'm gonna fix that quick. But we lost another carrier bang. Another carrier bang. I'm in Missouri. I'm glad that we're picking up a one-piece drive shaft soon because I can only stand to do this so much. So I'm gonna have to swap it again. The transfer case is leaking because the carrier bearing went, shoved it into the, so I'm gonna do that quick. Wow, today sucks. Not really, it's been a decent day. All right, so lesson for today, always set yourself up for success, all right? I give myself enough time during the day. Obviously, we have an 11-hour drive time and a 14-hour clock, right? That gives you 3 hours in between there to do anything you need to do, okay? Whether you're on duty, off duty, doesn't matter, okay? That's not the point. I have an hour and a half of that time left. I spent some time in Walmart earlier. I got a bucket and some supplies and everything. I do need to stop at an auto parts store eventually, but so it's gonna take me about 20 minutes. I gotta change the carrier bearing out, and I'm gonna top off the transfer case just to make sure everything's good. And then I just need to put a new crimp connector on the alternator. So not a big deal. Got about an hour and I'd say 25 minutes to do all that. Should be able to do that pretty quick. And then I'll have enough left over that it's not gonna affect my drive time. I'm losing absolutely no time. No matter what, I'm still dropping this trailer off tomorrow, and I'm still picking up my next trailer on Friday, no matter what happens. Doesn't matter, okay? So always set yourself up for success and always be prepared for anything. Climb up here. You guys can see there's the alternator, and oh, would you look at that? There's the pigtail that came off. So get that swapped out real quick. That's the easy part. Then we got to do the carrier bearing. That took me no time at all to swap that out. Here's the old one. Go right in the trash. Another one. Smack that off and keep going. There we go. Got her. Take that. Set that on there. And then we always carry a spare. Look at that. This was the easy. Here you go, new bearing is on. These U-joints I haven't replaced in a while, and they are perfect. These ones I replaced the other day. These wiggle pretty good. Same with that one. So get this thing thrown on. That took me all but 5 minutes. All right, so I got my pace picked out for tonight. We are stopping at a Love's about 3 hours away. I have 4 hours and 14 minutes on the drive time. That's perfect. That gives me an hour and 14 minutes of leeway time on the drive, and I still have an extra 18 minutes on my shift. So even with the minor issues I had today, I'm still gonna make it regardless. So there's that. Unless something catastrophic fails, but I usually every night stop at a Love's. So if it's along my route and there's less than an hour left on drive, that's the one I stop at. That's just how I've been doing it, so. But I don't ever fuel there anymore. So you also gotta remember on this one that I'm not doing 70 miles an hour the entire time, because, I mean, I'm doing 70 right now, don't get me wrong. But I'm trying to hold around like 64-ish when I get behind a decent semi that's keeping a consistent pace, because this trailer is absolutely terrible for fuel economy. It's literally a 13.5 brick. So I just prefer to kind of take it a little bit slower if I can, but obviously I'm doing 65 right now, so it's fluctuating between 60 and 70. Generally 64 I think has been my average. All right, so I'm doing a bunch of bullshit just to kind of make this truck, you know, as much cab space as possible for passengers, but I'm on the road. Here's where I put the cooler. Ignore that, I have a new tailgate. This is shot. So I took the cooler, this is bolted down. Obviously with the thin plastic and everything, you can't really put a ton of pressure on it, so it's not like it's gonna go anywhere. So then I wired that into my 4-way, which I'm gonna go get connectors for so I can do that a little bit cleaner. And whenever I turn my headlights on, not my headlights, my marker lights, my running lights, whatever, this will turn on. So good, perfect. That's what I want. So if it's like a super cold night, you know, I don't have to leave this on. But if it's super hot, well, I don't know. We'll see how I want to deal with that. But during the day, I'm gonna let the running lights on, and yeah. Also, look at this nice light. Look at that. I like that. I really do. All right, so I didn't show it. I just changed the oil. I was talking to the guy over there. So I changed the oil, brand new oil, and a brand new oil filter. You guys will be proud of me. I also just drained the transmission fluid, as you guys can see. So we got about 3 gallons of oil and 6 quarts of synchro mesh, and every bit of that's in the fuel tank. Hopefully gear oil is burnable. I guess we'll find out. Find out what's burnable on this week's episode of Steve Finds Out So You Don't Have To. So if you've ever driven without that mat on, that transmission makes a lot of noise. They all do, every one of them. These things scream. So I got this off, I got everything off, literally just with some wrenches and a Phillips screwdriver. Now I just gotta get my 10 mils in there and pull that off. All right, that's pretty much gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Safe travels, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good one.